every Thursday as well. It's going to take a group effort to get.
Hello, and welcome from Seattle. Good afternoon.
And welcome from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Filling the Void, episode 5. We have exciting guests this week. Ben and I have been working pretty diligently with our teams. Big shout out to everybody on the Filling the Void team who has made this happen. It's been really, I think, impactful what we've been doing, the guests that we've had on, and the collaboration between Seattle and Albuquerque is just continuing to grow. So, Ben, thanks for all of your hard work and your team, behind the scenes. Todd, who's the producer of the show. Absolutely fantastic. So just thanks again to the entire crew on in both organizations that make this happen.
Likewise, my friend, likewise. And we also want to thank you guys who have been viewing these episodes. We want to let you know that your input has been flooding in to our Filling the Void submissions, and we're really massaging this platform to really answer the questions that you guys want to get out there. And so hopefully we're going to keep evolving this and keep filling the void.
And we're going to fill the void with a lot of creatives, not just people from around the world to talk about different topics, but we're going to start doing performances too. Music, poetry, all types of presentations, script submissions, pitches to try and get projects funded. We're going to try and really bring all of this together. And, to kick things off this week, we have a really special artist from Albuquerque, Hakim Bellamy. And, Hakim and I kind of go way back. He's been involved with AFMX for a long time. And he was the inaugural poet laureate here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And just his art form, his style brings things to the table on a international level that are just amazing and impactful and have changed a lot of things in this world when it comes to his art form as a poet, a rapper, visual as well as audio artistry, just absolutely incredible. So, this week we're going to kick off with Hakim presenting some poetry and kind of get his idea of, what things have looked like, in his world when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. But the rest of the show, film festivals. We have some amazing guests on who are some players in the game when it comes to national and international film festivals. And we're going to dive deep into what's happening with festivals, what the future looks like, et cetera, et cetera. So, Ben, unless you have anything to add to that, let's bring on Hakim Bellamy.
Yeah, let's do a quick shout out to our sponsors. I know on the Seattle side, we've got the Bigfoot Script Challenge. Thank you guys for sponsoring. And on the Albuquerque side, I'll just speak for Ivan. Thank you, Comcast. And without further ado, let's dive in. Let's get Hakim up. There he is.
My man, Hakim, how are you, my brother?
Hello.
Can you hear us okay?
Hello.
We can hear you.
There, I had my volume down. Yes, I can hear you now.
Excellent. Hey, man, welcome to Filling the Void. Ben, Hakim, Ben, Hakim, the world.
Hi, world.
So good to have you on, Hakim. How are you doing? How are you holding up? What are you doing? Working from home?
It's Groundhog Day again, and it all feels very routine. I'm one of those essential workers, so my shtick has been when they called me essential the first time, I thought it was a compliment, and now it's a little different. So I do get to get out the house a few days a week, but yeah. It's good. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. No one I directly know has the virus or has passed from the virus. So I'm very blessed. Very blessed.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, you've been part of AFMX for several years now, and you know, we've built such a great relationship when it comes to film, music, the arts, poetry, dance, you know, everything. And you know, so happy to have you on the show. And you know, we want to bring another element to filling the void with artists performing, and whether it's music or theater, poetry, and the like. Spoken word's really important for all of us. So I wanted to see if you could share something that helps fill the void for other artists that could inspire and get people thinking.
I would love to. Thank you for the invite, and thank you guys for doing this. Thank you to the Seattle Film Fest, and of course my homies at AFMX. That we've been doing this dance for a minute now, but I've always as a poet and a writer, I've always had immense respect, obviously, for the film industry, because before these things get acted out, they start as machinations of the mind. And yeah, so just tip the hat to all you screenwriters out there. I do have a piece to share, and it actually is it has a kind of a little film vibe to it, because the guy it's about was a huge film fan, and Tuesday was the 4-year anniversary of his passing. So I don't know if you ever heard of this guy named Prince, but this poem is for him. The man who would be king, for Prince. High-heeled shoes were originally worn by men. As early as the 10th century, many horseback riding cultures wore heels on their boots and their shoes because heels help you stay in the stirrups, which consequently is why cowboy boots have heels too. Heels were seen as an expression of power and privilege reserved for male royalty, and only later co-opted by women, you know who you are, in the 17th and 18th centuries. 1. We all knew him as an adult possessed by music, but as a child, he was obsessed with the old Hollywood studio system. He studied the tape. The heads of these studio houses and all their movies from the 30s and 40s, and if you were in your 30s and 40s, you recollect Under the Cherry Moon. You recall the first time you ever noticed the rain bruise a certain hue and wondered for a fraction of a second if that precipitation was nothing more than the excessive perspiration of a strange colored fruit. You remember him giving his name back like Kunta, because the studio head said they owned that too, even though his birth certificate swears he was born the son of a king. 2. They should have seen it coming. Grandchild of Louisiana, son of a band fling turned matrimony, godson of James Brown, descendant of LaBelle and the Parliament Funkadelics, offspring of the group thing, married only to the game. I tried to told you, he studied the tape, produced, arranged, composed, and performed by him alone. Slave only to his music, not his masters, so he owned them too. Said, I'm gonna go ahead and get me one of them there plantations, called it Paisley Park, fought the industry overlords for his emancipation, paper, and won. Showed his whole entire ass to the entire music world on TV, on purpose and principle. In the name of Jimmy Scott, he did. In the name of Bo Diddley, he did. In the name of Charles Mingus, he did. In the name of dead Black musicians, stolen dollars and stolen songs, as though his very name means royalties. 3. In a perfect world, a different world, not the one where his self-titled debut album came out the self-same year I was born, a better world. A world in which Mortal Kombat would have been a video game about dancing, and you could cosplay a battle between Michael Jackson and Prince, some sort of 80s 8-bit adolescent dream witch of a fantasy where I get teleported back like to 1982, to a moment in time when the two most famous people on the planet were Black. Gods that dress, spoke, and or looked like women. Black folk so surprisingly proud of these post-gender geniuses that mom and dad scarcely flinched when I confessed that I too wanted to be a symbol when I grew up in his perfect world, where the girls get all the drumsticks and the color purple is somewhere between pink and blue. Where if queer were a color, it'd be leather, it'd be black, and sexy is whatever the funk you want it to be. A world where we are all at least 5'6" in heels. Thank you guys. Shout out to Prince. Respect.
Hey, Hakim, thank you.
That was amazing. Literally amazing.
I think one thing I want to express is I think the gratitude that I have for artists such as Hakim, and everybody here in Albuquerque, Seattle, around the world, around the nation. I think supporting one another, it seems like Zoom and, Google, chats and everything else. We're going to get through this together, but this is what it takes, the inspiration of learning and getting to know other artists around the world. So, man, Hakim, as always, we thank you.
Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you're doing and creating that space. I love the fact that you guys are also creating networks. I mean, all of these industries are tight knit. Like, I know poets all across the world, filmmakers know other filmmakers all across the world, and normally, we have each other. It's only us. It's like back to back, like Thelma and Louise, us against the world, and it's hard. It's hard to create that same community when we're not allowed to see each other. But you guys are doing a fine job, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, look forward to talking soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Right.
Are you gonna stick around with us?
I will. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I think we've got a couple of our other guests in the waiting room. We ready to transition?
I think so. Yeah, we're talking film festivals. There's some pretty amazing people coming on. Let's get them on and start talking about what the future looks like, and how we're going to shape independent film and display it worldwide.
Hey, real quick, Hakim, before we transition, that poem that you just read, is it online anywhere where we can drive traffic to?
It is. You know what? And I have your email, Ben. I'll send it to you. Absolutely.
Perfect, man.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I love it. Looks like we have our next guest. They're coming in.
Bruno, welcome from Paris, France.
Hi, guys.
Hey. They're flooding in. Daniel.
There we go.
Sandra. Bruno, that chair looks entirely too comfortable.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous.
How are you guys doing today? I think everybody's connected to audio at this point, right?
Yes.
Thanks.
Can you hear us, Bruno? Well, here's my tea cheers, even though you can't see it. It's in my uniform. My tea cheers to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't we just start by we'll start with Bruno, go around the room a little bit. Tell us what organization you're with, a little bit of your creativity, and also just an update on what you've been doing during this quarantine weirdness that we all live in.
Yeah, Bruno, I can't hear you. So is everybody else able to hear Bruno?
Yes. Oh, no, Bruno, no.
No.
Yeah, we can't. Nope, we can't hear Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's the only one we do not
So
hear.
while Bruno's getting his audio fixed, can you hear us, Bruno? I'm not sure he hears us. Hey, Daniel. No, actually, we'll start with Sandra.
Yeah.
Send someone to Bruno. We need help with Bruno.
Sandra, we'll start with you. We'll get back to Bruno. How are you today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Lipski. I'm the founder director of the Evolution Mallorca International Film Festival.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right, take two.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And
Yeah,
tell
sorry.
Bruno, we need you to mute your YouTube in the background there. Close that YouTube that you're watching.
Oh, yeah. I'm that. Okay.
Ah!
Better. Yeah. All right. So what I've been thinking in the past 6 weeks, I was thinking of when am I going to get a haircut? Because it's getting wild here. The second thing is, we at filmfestivals.com are talking about filmfestivals.com, and it's kind of quiet these days. So that gives me time to think to other things. But no, besides, answering your question, who am I? Well, I have two hats. One is the co-founder of filmfestivals.com, and we're talking 2000. And surviving 20 years on the internet means that we have to take drastic measures and survive and become mean and lean and you name it, but still sharing the same passion for festivals and films and people who make them, and trying to connect the filmmakers with the festivals. So we've been doing this for, like I said, 20 years. We are in the process, and I have no idea when, in the process of getting you a much better version. The one you're seeing is very ugly. We know that. It dates a while. I think we did it in 2006. It's 14 years. That's really stupidly old. So we have something we've been working for a year and a half. What's important besides that ugly website is the database. We have just under, I'll say 200,000, because it's easy. It's like real figure is 998,000 subscribers. These are film professionals, which are either the young filmmakers coming out of that's my mouse coming down, filmmakers coming out of school and making their first short, up to, I shouldn't say up, but anyway, including studio heads and everyone in the middle, or everyone making films or talking about films, producing, acting, you name it. We have also the producers, we have the festival organizers, about 12,000 in the database, media, about 12,000 as well, and many other professions. And we connect with news about the festival circuit every week with newsletters. The second hat is something I do for passion, and it's fun. I'm a festival, I call myself a festival agent. In other words, I've been for past, I think, 7 years, putting my expertise in marketing and film. I used to run Sony and Fox, so I've distributed hundreds of films. And I'm now helping filmmakers on the early stage, wherever I can come in and help. And aiming at providing them with the best festival strategy, where to start, how much to invest, what to do, and what kind of marketing elements should we make, including up to changing the title of the film, the catchline, editing, making the trailer, anything my marketing mind can help. I work with filmmakers for a year or so, or more. In some cases, like Rob Stewart, a film. I think, Sandra, we played the film Revolution at your festival. Rob Stewart gave his life for sharks, and his film I started working on for 2013, and we are still playing it in film festivals. Ivan, we played the film produced by Jeff Bridges in your festival. I really enjoyed. That was an amazing festival run. The film called
Living in the Future's Past.
It's a great title, isn't it? Even
it is. And the other one, most recent this past year, Dave Grusin. Not enough time.
Oh yeah, of course. It started at your festival actually with Barbara and Dave Grusin, for your friends, is a master of music for film, and also an amazing composer and a jazz performer, and the founder of the jazz label. He got, I don't know, 80 Grammy, and anyway, a big name in terms of music. And this documentary tells his both lives, on jazz and on film. So that's what I do and what I like doing.
I can vouch, and I'm sure the other festival directors here, Sandra and Daniel, can attest to. If we're looking for a certain type of film for the festival, one of my first emails is to Bruno. So I appreciate what you do, and just quickly, Bruno, your take on what's the future of film festivals with COVID-19? What do you think is going to happen over the next several months?
Well, I think, and Daniel and Sandra know about that. Running the festival successfully for years means you have to reinvent yourself every year and grow. It's like it's a constant race. You have to get bigger, have more audience, get more money, get more subsidies, and get better films, etc. It's running for best, for more. So that gives you, I would say, a strong kick in the ass, if I may say, like an urge to do something drastically different, and reinvent yourself. So clearly, the online world is going to benefit in terms of providing online premiere, and I'm a big fan of that. And I started doing this for films as a distributor. I think in 2006, I organized for a movie a series of online premieres, like I was doing for actual movies, a screening strategy. In other words, when you need to screen the movie so that you get lots of good word of mouth before you launch it. And I did this for Independence Day, but in theaters, like going out on the Tuesday, a day before the actual launch, just to get the word out and get bigger figures for the opening day. Anyway, so online will be, of course, an extremely important component. It's going to be a big challenge because growing an audience on the internet is a very difficult job. It's complicated. It requires different skills and money, unfortunately, not only skills, but money. What I also think, I don't want to be too long on this. I'm sure we want to hear Daniel and Sandra, but what I also think, it's going to shake the hierarchy. And I always I give a lot. I'm asked to speak very frequently about this festival circuit, and it is a circuit in a sense. And it happens that France has been quite successful. If you think for a second, we have the #1 film festival, Cannes. We have the biggest one for short films, Clermont-Ferrand. We have the biggest festival for animation, Annecy, and I could name a few. But so we have this expertise, but I think things can change pretty fast, even though we're talking of established festivals with decades and decades of past. So I see now the market of Cannes being threatened. If you saw that, what the CAA, the agency, they're launching an online platform, and they announced that before Cannes could even say what their plans were. So now Jérôme Paillard, who runs the market, has to cope with that and try to live with that. You see that in September, there's another venture coming out from San Sebastian together with Zurich, doing a platform for the films that couldn't play at Tribeca or South by Southwest. Anyway, so they can end up being squeezed a little bit out of their position. And anyway, it's I think it's a decent push towards reinventing yourself and thinking that not everything is granted. Don't take anything for granted. And if my friends from Cannes hear that, I know they'll recognize themselves.
Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere, but we're going to transition right over to Sandra and chat with her a little bit. Hi, Sandra. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Ben? Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Don't you dive in and tell us a little bit about what you do and how you're coping, and then transition right into the question that Ivan asked, which is, what do you see happening here in the next few months with festivals?
Yeah, you got it. So I'm Sandra Lipski. I'm the founder director of the Evolution Mallorca International Film Festival, which is set in Mallorca, Spain. It happens the last week of October, and this year we are curating our 9th year. I'm also the founder of the Festival Key, which is also a consulting firm for festivals and filmmakers, to do strategies for filmmakers. But so the festival, I consider myself lucky right now because we're not happening in the next 2 months. So we can still kind of feel it out and see what's going to happen until, September. That's when we do have to decide what's going to happen. But so far, so good. We are going strong. We are programming. So that's happening. Of course, as you guys know, relating to COVID, Spain is one of the countries that are most hard hit at the moment. Mallorca is an island. So actually on the island, it's considerably good if you compare to the other, to the mainland. But still, of course, it's a really challenging time right now. And I have already heard from different events that are happening in Mallorca, usually in October, that have been canceled. So far, I don't want to go down that path, but I am exploring definitely plan B of going online. As Bruno has mentioned, it's definitely a kick in the butt. I'm also exploring, I do have, since the second year in the festival, we have a drive-in cinema. And one of our very loved audience members actually wrote to me a couple days ago and said, why don't you do the entire festival in the drive-in cinema? And so I did actually connect with my drive-in cinema sponsor yesterday, and they liked the idea, but they were also very unsure of what's going to happen until the fall. So it's all very unsure right now. But what I do know is that the 9th edition has to happen. It either will be in our cars, online, or if we're very lucky, in the cinemas.
Mm-hmm. We're kind of in the same spot here in Albuquerque. So Sandra, first and foremost, Mallorca, absolutely gorgeous part of the world. God, I'm jealous. I wish I was there. But Albuquerque, we have wide open spaces, drive-in theaters. That's definitely an option. One of the themes at our festival in September is Westerns. It kind of fits the mold. So we plan on doing Westerns drive-in style. And if you want to ride up on your horse, you can, as long as you're.
Wow, I love that.
So we are excited, just like you are. Online options, drive-in options, and if we can collect in theaters, we will do our best. Safety first in our community. The mayor of Albuquerque has done a phenomenal job of keeping everyone informed, as has the governor of New Mexico. Safety first, and we just want to make sure we lower that curve and really get through this together. But I think what you're planning on in Mallorca, is what a lot of festivals need to, look at doing. And we're in the same spot. We're in September, 5 months away, where we have a few weeks where we can kind of hold off and wait to see what happens with other major festivals, even some of the smaller ones. But I think there are some really good online platforms, so we'll probably be going in that direction as well.
So let's transition over to Daniel, and just for everybody's awareness, what happens after this is our 5th episode, and what happens after every episode is our team meets with Ivan and I, and we get bashed about how long we run these episodes. We're never on point because we just want to talk. But so if I drive this forward a little too much or too quickly, it's not me. Blame the producers like Todd. Daniel, it's good to see you, brother. How are things going?
Good. Well, in a personal note, I'm in the middle of like a windstorm. Our power just went out. So I'm using my hotspot to connect, and the computer still has a battery, but I have 19% of battery on my phone. So I'll get through this. And if at some point I cut off, the power went out, there's wind, tree line might have cut off our power line. So I got to go figure out what the hell's going on out there. So outside of that, so much of what Sandra's mentioned, everyone really, Bruno, I've been, we're in a similar boat. We're a little closer because of course our festival will be in our 16th year. It's in August. So we're all inching towards, we started with Sandra's dates later, and then we're inching backwards here, September to now August. So we're still waiting. We have a little bit of time. The California lift, or the order, is I think May 16th. And LA is I think 15th. So we're just monitoring what government is saying, what local officials are saying, and then kind of looking at what we can or can't do. We've talked to Chinese theater. They're basically saying they feel very oddly comfortable or very confident in a full sort of recovery or opening. I was surprised by the tone, to be quite honest. They seem to be, feeling like they're going to be open by summertime and everything will be fine, for whatever that means. I don't know how much we feel that comfortable, but we know we have to put that all aside. We have to put some things in place. If we are going to do this in August and the festival runs, it's going to be something different. We know it can't be obviously social distancing measures. We've had some great packed, 1,000 people for opening night. Can we still do that? Should we do that? Probably not. So what does that mean? Do we space people out? How do we do the lines? Do we supply masks? How does that look like? So these are all things we're just inquiring about. We don't have the answers yet, but we're looking into all these measures. That all said, we want to still host a festival. So it will be some kind of potential sort of, for lack of a better, dumbed down version, potentially, and then mixed in with online. That's something we're going to have to explore. We don't want to just skip a year. Some people have had to cancel. I can't imagine canceling. We have to
I
find a way.
can't imagine either. That's
Yeah.
Isn't that
It's
the
just-
weirdest thing to think about that? Like
Yeah.
canceling? I mean, I understand that some people where the dates were so close to the outbreak of COVID and they didn't really have a chance to come up with plan B.
Yeah.
But I think the fact of canceling an edition, just that will sit with you forever. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid that at all costs if possible.
Yeah, because there's
wonder
also
what
the
the
fact of,
candle-
okay, what do you do with films? Do you push the films back? Do you roll over submissions? How do you do
Yeah.
that process? Obviously, you take submission revenue that comes in, that pays for costs of judges, readers, staff, et cetera, everything. So, how do we do that part? We obviously all have this option now where online is a thing. There's platforms available. We're also in the process of starting and relaunching our own, which is BitPix, and that'll be coming up very soon, probably within the month. So we're accelerating that process. We were planning for August to have a sort of online version to go with the festival. Now it may be something that is the festival where we have to host and have it live for this year potentially, but it's something we're working towards getting that ready. And obviously we'll discuss with other festivals, and Sandra, I'll talk to you about that more, because we're looking to see what festivals may want to use the service, may need a service. This is the new sort of world. It's going to be happening going forward, but to what degree is that? That's what we don't know yet. We don't know to what degree things will be normal again, or what is normal, and that's still the question mark, And but all that said, we have to still host a festival, have a juried situation where judges still watch the films and still have selections and award winners. We're also waiting on what does the Academy say. We don't know what the Academy situation is for our winners that can be qualified. What does that mean right now, and how does that going to work if we do something online only? Will they still accept that? These are answers we're waiting for them to get back to us on. So these are all, we have to sort of cross all these lines and figure out what are the rules for all this going forward too. So, but yeah, we're in the middle of just trying to figure all that out. In the meantime, just watching films. We still have our deadlines coming up. We're just moving forward as normal at this time, as much as we can be, until we know more.
Well, thank you for joining us today. If you have to leave because of a down power line or a tree in your house, we totally understand.
It's going to probably happen now. I have 16% battery left. I think it's just when it goes out, it might just go out. So look at the power. It looks like it's still off. I don't know.
Ivan, I believe we had a special guest that we didn't promo who's in the waiting room right now. Do we want to bring in Emily?
Yeah, Emily Skye Algol. You may know her from different festivals or recognize the name. Filmmaker, producer, director, but she is also she used to run the Reno Tahoe International Film Festival, and then started the Cordillera International Film Festival out of Reno Tahoe. So Emily, you're here. I love seeing you. Wish it was in person. Welcome.
Hi, I think my my computer is still playing the YouTube video. I was watching you guys like, I wonder if they know I'm here. Am I on twice?
No, you're great.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear, and yeah, so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we were asking everybody what their festival is looking like, and from Spain to Hollywood, here in Albuquerque, Bruno's in Paris. What's it looking like in Reno, Tahoe, and what's the outlook for the festival this year?
Well, our festival is tied in with a program called Art Town, and Art Town has about 300,000 people that come in July, and our festival is affiliated with them. So we've been kind of waiting to see what they say and what the city says and how safety is. We're kind of in the same place as several of the other festivals have talked about. I've been watching you guys on the YouTube channel. And we're just can't imagine skipping a year, but also we're looking into other options. We've even talked about drive-ins, as Sandra mentioned, and an online option. I'll definitely talk to Daniel at Hollyshorts. I've been to your festival a few times on the filmmaker side of things. And see about different platform options for going online.
So in Reno Tahoe, I know that the mayor of Las Vegas has been big in the news as of late. It seems like the governor, though, in Nevada is really behind safety first. And tell us a little bit about what that environment's like with your support from government agencies in Reno Tahoe and the like. As I mentioned before, the mayor and the governor, mayor of Albuquerque, governor of New Mexico, are really on board with making sure people are informed, people are safe, people have what they need, and that we get through this together. It's not a me attitude, it's a we attitude. So just wanted to kind of pick your brain on that a little bit.
The mayor of Las Vegas has been making pretty big national news. She's ready for everybody to be running on the streets and doing all the things. Yeah, super proud of her. But we're in Reno, Tahoe. We're 9 hours away and have a completely different mentality. We're a very artistic, foodie-driven city. And although we do have casinos here, the arts community, because of Burning Man and all of the theater scene here, we're a little bit more on the let's stay in, let's keep everybody safe, we care about humans. We don't want the economy to completely get destroyed, but it's been pretty magical watching the community come together as a whole. All of the different organizations that have started up, the festival, we've been supporting people as much as possible and coordinating free entertainment and movies and Q&As with filmmakers. So Reno is thankfully kind of kept away from the Vegas bubble of a little bit of the crazy that's been happening there, but we're still obviously very impacted. Our mayor wants us to stay in and stay safe, and so does our governor.
So I want to ask a question. I think Ben and I talked about this before. I want to ask everybody this question. What's the most unique online form of creativity you have seen since COVID-19 started?
For me, it's been the unique ways people have been finding entertainment, whether it's the Philharmonic doing concerts outside of their driveways and then piecing them together. I live in a high rise and there's musicians that are playing on their balconies. So we're getting free concerts. We live downtown on the river. There's a river that comes through Reno, kind of San Antonio-ish. And there's a little island and street entertainers will go and perform on the island and live stream. So to me, just sharing art and I would have never seen some of these folks that play the coffee shops, and now I'm in love with their music and supporting them on YouTube and their channels and I'm trying to support as many artists as I can. And as a filmmaker, I'm embarrassed to say this, but there's really creative content going out on TikTok. Not the like hot yoga, like, oh hey, not that stuff, but there's some really brilliant creative content along with a lot of shirtless people. But for the most part, it's just inspiring watching people day after day doing these unique things. So there's a lot of it. I talk too much.
Oh, no. That's
Daniel, what about you? What's some of the creative things that you've seen going on online because of COVID?
Yeah, I'd say it's really just this what we're doing here now. I think we've been watching more and also participating more in video chats, viral video chats. There's the Hollyshorts IG, doing the IG live and doing this stuff now. We didn't do that before, and we start doing that now weekly, and it's something we're kind of adding to what we do. And we should have done it before, but now it's could have made us do it. So I think what we're seeing more now is, you've seen these creative people taking this stuff online, saying, all right, I want to make some music, and I want to share it with someone. Then I'm just going to just share it with some people. We're going to get a group chat, and we're going to post it and share it. So we're seeing this kind of thing happen more and more now, where that just wasn't happening much before. I mean, to a degree, yes, people are using Zoom and all these things, but to see it to where everyone's not only doing it, but paying attention. People are sitting around waiting to see what's next, watching this stuff and listening, paying attention. So to see all that stuff, like I saw today, someone posted some kind of some opera singers that wanted to just perform an opera, and they did it and they posted it, and then they did it themselves and did it on one of these, I think it was Zoom like this, and then shared it. And I was like, I never even thought of that. That's just, now it's a sort of new norm, some of my new ideas, but I never would have thought of that. So like the idea of these like plays and opera and things being performed and done and then posted and shared changes the sort of paradigm of thinking about entertainment in some ways too. It's pretty cool.
It's a great segue. I want to get to everybody else, but on this subject, I want to bring in one of our guests. His name is Xola Malik. He's a good friend of mine. You might know him as Kid Sensation when he was performing with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and he is doing a really cool online music video concept. And so there he is right now. Xola, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. I'm well, Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Meet everyone. Everyone, Xola.
Welcome.
Good, everyone.
So, Xola, we were just we were going through all the guests talking about the cool things that they've seen people out in the community do since we've all been under quarantine, and it was very timely because you're doing something unique. Why don't you tell us about it?
Oh yeah, so I'm releasing a new single, and the song is called "Feeling Myself," and it's really kind of like a song that's about, like, I don't know, it's low key kind of talking self-esteem and things like that, man. There's a lot of people that are like battling depression and sort of identity issues and body issues and all kind of cool things, man, and or things that are not so cool, I guess I'd say. But the cool part about it is that, you know, we're all kind of unique. We all kind of have something quirky or fun or cool about us. And I don't care whether you're overweight, you're short, you're tall, you're fat, you're skinny, you're black, you're white, whatever. We should all just be comfortable in our own skin and cool with ourselves. And, you know, and then sometimes something like this COVID-19 thing and all that, when we start getting isolated, sometimes that's a lot of us like desiring human connection. That's kind of our only way to kind of find our way out of like depression and things like that, is to have that real authentic human connection and to be connected to people. And, you know, and so this whole concept of this Feeling Myself song is like, man, we're stuck in this COVID situation. We're stuck in, you know, in isolation and not being able to do all that human contact stuff. So the whole Feeling Myself thing is kind of about like, you know, man, love yourself through all of this stuff. Love yourself through, you know, whatever people think about you, whatever people might say about you. There's a lot of people that are on social media criticizing each other. Someone can put up, I went out and ran a mile, and someone's gonna, all you got to do is look at the comments, and someone's going to say, well, so what, I ran too. Well, so what, you're still fat. So what, you still suck. It's like, you know, there's so much negativity. It's like, yo, with this song, it's like, the chorus of the song is, I'm feeling myself and can't tell me nothing. Blah, blah, blah. Did you say something? Because I'm feeling myself and can't tell. So the bottom line is just enjoying who we are, enjoying and celebrating who we are and celebrating our uniqueness. Now, getting to the point of how this all kind of ties into the COVID thing, I was going to shoot a music video for the song and, you know, include all of these cool, unique, and different people and kind of celebrating who they are. And like I said, it doesn't matter. I don't need models and all that. I want everyday people that are just, you know, who we are, that represent the diversity and the beauty of our culture. And so the video shoot kind of got the kibosh because of all the COVID stuff. And so then I thought to myself, man, why don't we shoot the video quarantine style and like literally have people shoot footage of themselves with their iPhones or whatever, man. And we'll compile all this footage of just people I don't care if you're at home singing in a hairbrush and just dancing to the song, or if you're just kind of enjoying who you are and your own uniqueness. We're getting, and it's so funny now, I've gotten, you know, I got a couple of Seahawk players. I got, Jamal Crawford, who plays in the NBA. I've gotten several people to contribute, you know, to this thing, you know, and so now we're just getting a huge, huge swelling of different diverse clips of people that are just showing what they're doing during quarantine. We got people like working out. We got people that are like hanging out with family, people that are dancing to the song. I got one family, man, it's so funny. They got 2 little babies, and the wife like memorized all the words to the song, and it literally looks like their video. Like she's just in it and she's dancing, man, and she's mimicking the lyrics. She's like, feeling myself, can't tell me nothing. And you guys got to see the clip. It's hilarious. You'll see when the video's finished. I think it's posted on my Facebook page, but they do not look like the family that would be doing this, but they went all in, and it is just hilarious. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is, I guess, you know, lift some spirits, man, spread a little joy, spread a little love during this time. And even though we can't be connected like in person and whatever, I just thought, hey, man, this would be a fun way to, I don't know, make kind of the best out of this whole situation of isolation, have fun with the video, and man, hopefully it just, you know, people just enjoy it all over the place.
So are you still taking submissions, or is that done?
No, yeah, absolutely. We're taking them until we're going to cut it off this Sunday. We were going to cut it off last Sunday, but then what I hadn't even thought of in the beginning was like, oh, shoot, I don't have any first responders. I don't have any grocery store people. I don't have any of those people that are on the front line that are like serving us and helping us to like keep life somewhat normal and saving lives. I'm like, yeah, I need some of those heroes, and we need to honor them and represent them. And so I extended it, and I said, okay, we're just taking more submissions because I want like a hugely diverse, you know, group of people that this represents. Because come on, man, our country and our culture represents diversity. So, but I want those first responders. So man, if anyone out there knows some first responders that like would love to have some fun and contribute to this, man, that'd be amazing. Because we got a few, but I want more, man, you know?
We'll get some sent your way.
That would be so dope.
Okay.
That would be so dope.
Yep.
Where can people submit?
Okay, so there's several ways that you can submit. On my, you can go to like my Facebook page, and you can literally just, if someone shoots the video on their phone, to keep it nice and simple, you can literally go to my Facebook page, to my Xola Malik, Xola Malik, and you can send it to me, message it to me there. Okay. Oh, post it in the chat. Okay. And then also Xola Music is my band page, if you will, and that it can be messaged there. So I'm gonna post all this in the chat in a minute. And then it can also be sent to the director directly if someone prefers to email it. But no matter what it takes, get it to us, because we definitely want it, especially, like I said, from the first responders, grocery store workers, all those kind of people, doctors, nurses. We want, and police, firemen, anyone that we can honor that's in that kind of essential employee field that's still out there putting themselves on the line for us.
Love it. I love it.
So I'll work on putting that in the thing now.
Well,
then I'm trying to get better at Zoom, man. I'm like not even signed in. I'm just like generic iPhone. I'm trying to figure that out and make sure that people know who I am when I'm coming in. I'm getting there, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't know if you've heard, but I like to call him the voice of God, our producer, Todd. He said he's already put it in chat. So we've got it all out there for you.
Oh, so you got it covered. Oh, sweet, man. Because I'd have been sitting here 10 minutes trying to figure that out too. Hey, but look, wait a minute. Does it show that I changed my name yet?
Yeah.
Yep. So
good. Sweet.
So Xola, thank you for joining us. I would love for you to stick around, but if you need to leave, totally cool too. But we want to continue going around the circle and talking about things that people have seen that have inspired them or excited them. And just to say it again, cool idea. I love it. I love the energy that you put out into the universe, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, man. And I'm looking forward to your video too, Ben.
I got an idea. I think I'm going to put all my family in masks.
Man, that would be dope. But like Jamal, man, Jamal Crawford, he's the NBA player, so he's Mr. Cool. So he couldn't really, do all the dancing and all that. So he just kind of like mimicked a few words and pointed to the camera. So you're Mr. Cool, Mr. Know Everybody, Ben. So I don't want to undignify you, man, and make you like dance or anything. So no, man, do whatever you do, man. Have fun with it, man. That would be so dope, man.
Cool. Well,
and I'm gonna stick around, man, because I need some good news.
There you go.
we all. Who do we leave off on, Ivan?
Well, I mean, I just want to say a thank you personally for you coming on, because with our festival here in Albuquerque, it's all about celebrating the creative equality between film and music. So we want to have as many musicians on as possible too, and have you here and many others that are on upcoming shows, and Hakim Bellamy, poet extraordinaire. It's just great to have everybody on. So I want to continue on. Where did we leave off with creative things that we've seen online since COVID-19 started?
I forgot to tell you, Ivan. Xola doesn't know it yet, but he's coming with me to go to AFMX this year.
Oh, sweet. Love it. We're going to welcome you with open arms, my friend.
All right, man. All
great.
Right.
Love Albuquerque. I mean, Albuquerque's just phenomenal. So
beautiful city.
Yeah, thank you.
So should we go
Sandra?
Sandra.
Creative things you've seen online that have been pretty spectacular during COVID-19.
Yes, so there's actually two actresses that are from Mallorca, Spain, that I admire so much. One of them is called Clara Ingold, Clara with a C, and she has a whole movement behind her. She's a comedian. She puts out videos on Instagram, and she made some really cool content that is visible on her social media. And then also Ana Perello, she's another actress, and they made this whole series called 2021. they're shooting it in their home. She's doing it together with her boyfriend, who's I think a stand-up comedian. He's not an actor, but they're doing it together, and they're pretending that they're a couple who's stuck at home, and like, you know, all the different facets of a couple and how they deal with that, and calling with your friends, like what we're all going through, but in a heightened, funny way. And it's, I recommend it for sure. It's very entertaining. And the fact that they come up with it and they kind of produce that out of, you know, we all in sort of a depression, being locked at home. And you have to know that in Spain, they're not allowed to go outside and walk even. Like if they have a dog, they can go 50 meters from their home, but they're not allowed to go outside, only for shopping. So I think it's really impressive how they took this energy and turned it into something creative and put it out there. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll put the link also in the comments.
That'll be great. Thank you for sharing that. Bruno.
Well, first I've seen bad things, like people, yeah, all the shit you get of your friends who want to entertain you, like stupid jokes. And one moment you have piles and it takes all your computer space or your cell phone space. So what I meant by that mostly was festivals trying to take advantage and create very quickly a lockdown festival with make your lockdown movie or whatever. I mean, I after all, the idea is okay, but it looks like a little bit like eating, like taking advantage of the situation. And well, I don't know what's going out of it. I've seen a few films like that, and they were a little bit pathetic. So, but I'm judging, and you should not. What I want to say is,
well, they're not. Yeah, they're not good. We've seen some submissions that have already come in. There's been submissions that just people have submitted films that they made. Just this in the past few weeks, a few days, and everything I've seen so far, none of them, quite frankly, have been. They just haven't been very good.
There is a reason to that. I mean, this industry works on teamwork.
Are they meant for film festivals? They should be meant for a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it's something different. So I don't appreciate them submitting, and they're trying to compete, and they think, okay, well, I want to do something and get this out, but it's just it's not going to be able to compete in that level at this time. Occasionally one film can surprise you, or a few, right? Like sometimes people are that creative or good. You're talented, but I mean you're limited in resources here. It's difficult. So yeah.
Daniel, you have all these different sections in Hollyshorts. Would you maybe think of a section, call it the COVID?
Yeah. So we've talked about it. I don't know, not likely. I don't think so. Not likely at all. We talked about it as a brief. We're talking about all types of ideas, but it's just like you come almost like why. Plus the content is dictated, right? Like if the films are great, then okay, but you're dedicating a section just for films just because, and then the films aren't good.
Yeah,
that's the point.
What I meant, I need to elaborate. What I meant it was people taking advantage of film freeway possibilities and creating a new event, a new festival, based on the situation, and saying, all right, I'll take the submission fees and make a little bit business out of it, and won't make a real film festival, just taking money and using people's time for wrong reasons. But that's not mostly what I wanted to say. I was very I think the most important thing is what Daniel was saying is this thing has taught us to make the usage of these Zoom and all of these like a daily way of communicating, and changing very, very drastically and deep at a deep level the way we will be communicating. For instance, my wife is in a business where she's renting. She has a couple of spaces, like big rooms or where she rents for people who make events, and of course it's a lockdown, but she knows that after we open it, the people will have learned to make their Zoom meetings that will take probably a big chunk of her business. So what I'm meaning is there's always been people saying the films that are shown in the film festival should also be shown online. People like the people in Cannes hated that to the extent that forbidding any film that was a Netflix movie to be elected and all of that. But I think it is happening now. What is important, I believe, in the future is that we found ways. I mean, the platforms who help us do that this sort of business find ways to help. And another component of the festival that's very important is the networking. After you've seen the film, you need to talk to the people who made those films and maybe become friends, have a project together, and make plans for future and pitch. Oh, I have this idea for a movie. What do you think? Anyway, so open up for not really Q&A. Q&A is basic, but helping people who just saw the same movie interconnect. So there's probably
it's throughout the festival itself, Bruno. I mean, as you know, all of us know, the networking opportunities at a festival are not just, right after the movie. It's throughout the entire week or however many days your festival is.
Yeah.
I just talked to a filmmaker out of Chicago that was here in 2019. And he said, hey, I'm collaborating with another filmmaker I met that came from LA. And, they're working on a feature project right now, which to me is very exciting, and which I think a lot of our festivals are about, bringing people together so they can collaborate into the future as creatives, whether it's film, music, literary, whatever it may be, mainly film. But
I think basically there's something that we need to reproduce online is how we collect the business cards when we meet after in the film festival, and say, oh yeah, let's remind me we should discuss that later, whatever. That's an important thing. To make a short answer to your question, what I saw very positive were two things. One where in terms of creativity was and I can't say it's a technique or linked to online platform, you name it. It's just the quality of the viral films that were created, and usually it's humor. So basically, what I saw was good because it had a lot of humor. It was a good message, and people shared that. And it was not really. I didn't see anything in terms of using the technology to make something extraordinary. The concert with 15 people singing live is great, but it's only good if what they sing together or perform together is fantastic and therefore is shared. So the only positive thing I want to say that really struck me hard, very, was the fact that lots of the museums that are shut down in Paris opened up for the audience, and you have virtual visits of this and that you would not, basically offering online access for free to entertain, to educate, and I think it's again something very, very positive. There are a few positive things that have emerged in I don't know if you guys have that in your respective countries, but here in Paris, every day at 8:00, and it's really 8:00 sharp, people start clapping and thanking the first line of people who help in the hospitals, and so I realized I see every day people in front of my street opposite on the other house that I've never met, and they bring their children, and the children wave, and sometimes at the same time you have ambulances or people who do things that are taking part. I mean, these are moments that are really, really valuable in terms of bringing people together.
Yeah.
Do you have that in Spain, Sandra?
Yes, we do. I'm actually physically right now in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, right.
But yes, we do have it in Spain, and it's also 8 p.m. So
that's impressive.
And it's the entire city. Everybody gets out. I didn't, but someone else started it right down a couple of apartment buildings down from me like a week ago, and it gets stronger every day. And I'm like in the heart of Hollywood, so we get out with our pots and pans and we make noise, and it's been catching on, but it's definitely not as big as it could be.
Yeah.
And I want to ask Hakim because he just sent a message to everybody they did a virtual tour of the Jim Henson exhibit here at the Albuquerque Museum, you know, which Cultural Services for the city of Albuquerque sponsored and put on. So, you know, Hakim, I know you're on mute. I don't know if I can get you off mute, but I just want to ask you about that and some other things that you have seen that have been really creative online during this that have been cool.
Absolutely. I had to migrate inside because, like Daniel, I was on like 1% on my laptop. So I'm plugged in now. I shouldn't go anywhere. I hope Daniel's power comes back on.
Yeah, it's not yet. It's at 1% left, so I'm trying to hold on here.
What I put in the chat to Bruno's remarks was that I also, when I'm not being a poet, I'm the deputy director for the Cultural Services Department for the city of Albuquerque, and we manage our two larger museums, the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History and the International Balloon Museum. And we just put online last week the Jim Henson exhibit. We have an exhibit from New York, from the Moving Image Museum of NYC, and it was the most popular. We shattered all our attendance records. It was already charted to be the most popular exhibit we've ever had in the museum up until 2 months ago, right? And 6 weeks ago we shut down. So we haven't got it to the point where we've been able to make a moment of it, like a watch party where everyone comes online at the same time to observe. It's something that we actually just recorded inside the exhibit with the guy who wrote Jim Henson's biography. And so he got to walk the museum by himself with a film crew and kind of go through the exhibit, but it's available for viewing at our site, and I put it in the chat.
Cool, thanks.
I recommend if you get a chance, go on the opera, the French opera website, and they put out ballet and opera that like you've never seen. I mean, or you could see, but pay hundreds of euros. I mean, amazing. And everything is free. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I wonder what happens when it's all done. What's next after?
Yeah.
You know, like.
And any of you guys have an experience of watch parties with Netflix watch parties, or are you doing this for your festivals?
Well, go ahead, Emily.
No, we've done a couple of shares where we did watch parties and then had Q&As with the filmmakers. But I think our max, we had like 200 people watching at one point, so it hasn't.
That's a lot, no?
Oh, well, yeah. We just didn't know if we would have like us and Tumbleweed or a big audience. So it's been an experiment, but we've only done it 3 times.
But was it was the screening of the film on one platform or on Netflix at a specific time, and then the Q&A live on the platform?
We didn't do anything through Netflix. We honored some of the short films that are part of our program and put together a special program, and then we shared it where the audience was together with a lot of faces on Zoom, where they could do the Q&A afterwards live.
So what platform did you use to show the film? Like,
I'm sorry?
Facebook Live?
It was a YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube. Oh, may I share a personal? It's almost like a joke. I remember doing in Cannes, probably 10 years ago, when Second Life was hot. You remember Second Life?
Mm-hmm.
So I got some people to help me recreate Cannes. So we had the Croisette, we had the Palais des Festivals. I built my office, which was actually in the Palais, and we had the poster sites that were the one we have in Cannes with posters, and I was selling the poster sites on Second Life. And that was the year we had the concert of U2 live. One of my most amazing moments in Cannes, live concert of U2. So we recreated this on Second Life, and I had helped some filmmakers with a strategy of let's show in an actual screening room, let's show the film for the buyers in Cannes, and also on Second Life. And the technology at those time was you could only have 20 people so we had created like special seats on 3D, and the film was actually screening. It worked, and I had 1 or 2 filmmakers who experienced that. And I would say the most interesting part of that experiment was the publicity it got, because clearly doing something with 20 people only well, is limited in terms of interest, but it was really crazy. It's funny.
That's cool.
So I want to be really respectful of everyone's time. One of the things when we started this, we wanted to open it up to filmmakers to submit anything that they felt they wanted to get out to the community in general. So we have a pitch for a project coming up. It's just going to be a couple minutes, and then we're going to bring that guy on. He's a local filmmaker here to Seattle. His name is Ed Hartman. And if you have comments on his pitch, I'm sure he'd love to hear them. If you have to leave, thank you so much for being here, but please don't leave if you don't have to, because we want to talk to you more after this.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, Ed, how are you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Good.
loud and clear.
All right.
So I was thinking that we would just play your video right off the bat, and then you can speak to it afterwards.
That's fine. However you want to do it, that's good.
So Voice of God, AKA Todd, can you play that video for us?
Hi, my name's Ed Hartman. I'm a composer and producer in the Pacific Northwest. I'm looking to build a team for the film The Filmmaker. In 1938, a 20-year-old filmmaker in Seattle made an epic sci-fi film using his own 16mm equipment, even developing his own film. That never-released production was finally finished in 2018 and has been at 120 festivals and won 134 awards nominations. This filmmaker would go on to work for Disney, get drafted into the Army to make classified and propaganda films, and direct an Academy Award-winning documentary. Richard H. for Hoover Lyford was born 2 years after Orson Welles in 1917 and died the same year in 1985. Yet why do we not know who he is? From the time he was born, Richard was a storyteller. He could put a row of books on a shelf, develop a complete narrative tale with complete character development. When he was in grade school, he put together a stage play about Dracula that was so intense and gory that the entire cast was expelled for 2 days. Lyford was a real-life Andy Hardy who wrote 58 stage and screenplays and made 9 films with ever larger casts, all before he was 20 years old. There are a number of stories about him, including a lot of information he wrote in articles himself. I've interviewed his son, researched Lyford extensively, and own his film estate. I scored and produced the award-winning As the Earth Turns, which is going into distribution right now, including Turner Classic Movies in the fall of 2020. I'm interested in finding a team that can help me create the first 20 years of his life on film. His professional life in Hollywood and beyond may also be an option, but I feel it's the early part of his development that's best suited as a narrative biography. It will attract Pacific Northwest funding and can be filmed locally, putting a lot of industry people to work. It will also be sellable to Hollywood as well. In these extraordinary times, it is a needed feel-good story about creativity, drive, all during the Depression and build up to World War II. Lyford was a true indie filmmaker outside of Hollywood before there was such a thing. The story of Richard Lyford becoming a great director, editor, and producer is a wonderful motivation for anyone that wants to be a creative. Who's with me?
Welcome, Ed Hartman. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about that awesome pitch we just saw.
Thank you very much, Ben and Ivan. I appreciate this greatly. So my name's Ed Hartman. I'm a score composer primarily in Seattle. I'm also a percussion teacher. I teach licensing. I'm going to be doing an online licensing class for the first time. And I've been also a producer, and I produced As the Earth Turns, the film on the video. And it's been in it just got another festival today, 121 festivals. It's won 135 awards nominations. So it's gotten a lot of gas, and it's going. I'm delivering my assets to TCM, Turner Classic Movies, today, and then it's going to Indie Rights Distribution in the next few weeks for further distribution. The director, Richard Lyford, is the person that I'm interested in doing a biopic about as well. So what I'm trying to do is just seek out a team to put this together. I especially need a screenwriter, but I'm really looking for another producer or 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever, and directors and editors and the whole bit. And what's really hit me about this whole thing is that Richard Lyford did all this stuff. He'd made this movie when he was 20 in Seattle, outside of Hollywood, before he worked for Disney and everything else. And he did it with no budget. And I'm thinking, man, you know, if he were alive today, this is exactly what he'd be doing. And he'd be assembling a team, much like people like Ben and Lorraine that I know are able to put together tremendous talent in one area and make things happen for whatever budget that is. I believe in this particular case, this film could attract a reasonable budget, especially right now, because if you want to put together a film about a filmmaker in an interesting time trying to make something happen with, you know, I mean, think about the sequence of what's going on right now. Let's put everybody to work with something like this. So I got to believe that the film industry in Washington State and you know, in LA is going to be very interested in projects like this. This is a golden opportunity, and that's why I thought, man, I'm not waiting for this thing to end. This is exactly what needs to happen. And so there's enough to be done before things open up for shooting that I think right now is the time to do it. So that's my goal.
Awesome, Ed. We'll put all that information, of course, in the description and online for you, but just verbally, if somebody sees your pitch and wants to talk to you further, how should they get a hold of you?
Well, as on the video, edhartmanmusic.com is my personal website where all of my activities are there. As the Earth Turns is the film that Richard Lyford did that we're promoting right now. And if you'd like to see that film, I'd be happy to send a link as well. It's going to be on an online festival, one of the Liftoff Onlines, in a couple of weeks. Looks like I just got that today. So, but I'm happy to work with anybody, talk to anybody about this. So really pretty easy. edhartmanmusic.com is probably your easiest way to do that. So, you know, and I'm always interested in working with filmmakers out there for scoring opportunities and things like that. So, you know, got to keep it rolling.
Well, thank you for joining us, Ed. I totally appreciate it. I've worked with Ed on a couple of fronts, and I can tell you he's quite the professional. And very easy to work with. So, Ivan, we are 12 minutes over. I'm already, I have come to the fact that I know I'm going to be attacked for this, but I don't think we need to stop if we don't want to.
I mean, we can keep going. I wanted to say it was great having Ed on for the audience and for our special guests that have joined us. Spread the word. We're going to be doing pitches each week with a filmmaker, where we can get their project out there and put it in front of people during these tumultuous times. So, you know, Ed, great having you on.
Thank you.
For everybody else that can stay on, I mean, we do have a few more minutes. I'm interested to know, you know, what piece of advice would you give to other film festival organizers or music festival or artists out there during this time? And what do you look forward to doing when we're able to go back out into public? You know, let's start off with Bruno. Quick piece of advice for people out there, and what do you look forward to doing once you can go out in public and the like?
Well, first, work on your pitch. Now, I like to think that the pitch is the most difficult thing for filmmakers, and you got to practice and make sure you end up with something that you can make in 2 minutes, where you start by saying, my name is, I did this and that, and I'm interested in doing something, and what I'm looking for is this, so that everyone understands clearly, and then elaborate, but starting with a short pitch. And I think for festival organizers, that's a very, very, very useful part. I've been part of a festival that was doing pitching sessions in Portugal, in Espinho, in June somewhere. And there were pitching sessions, maybe 15 selected projects. And everyone in the jury had the pitches before and written documents, and we were exposed to the live verbal pitch, and we made comments, and everyone made in the room made comment, the jurors made comment, and I thought that was one of the most productive sessions I've seen. I've seen so many panels that just spill out lukewarm water, like you reinvent the wheel and whatever, but that's very, very practical and useful. So take this time to practice your pitch, practice on your friends, and make sure. So, well, I don't know exactly how I can answer your question. It's a difficult question.
No, that was a great answer. Great piece of advice for everybody. What do you look forward to doing when you can go out into public and, is it a restaurant, a bar, a movie theater?
Well, I miss the terrace. I miss the sharing. We call the aperitif sessions. We do that a lot in France, probably everywhere in the world. But the place where you have lots of drinks and the little things to eat.
Yep.
And have fun and talk, whatever. So, and especially with warm weather, anything that looks like Mallorca or Minorca is good enough. It's perfect. But yeah, look for people. Yeah, we look. And the next thing I'm missing is I'm used to travel the world and go to at least like one film festival a month. Usually at places where I know I'm going to take great pictures because I love taking pictures. So I'm very frustrated for these past 2 months. I've canceled my trips and it's getting boring. So I can't wait to the next festivals.
Yeah. Hakim Bellamy, piece of advice for artists out there.
Piece of advice for artists out there. We've and I'd rather make it about my art, but I'd feel remiss if I didn't talk about some of the amazing efforts that the city has done. And so Albuquerque was one of the first cities, I think San Francisco was actually first, but one of the first cities to come out with a relief package specifically for creatives. Lots of cities were doing things for SBA and small business loans. So now you're competing with a barbershop and a restaurant, and our work is very different. So for the theater companies in town, for the DJs in town, this was something that was exclusively for them. And we were able to, through finding some funds in reserve with our Urban Enhancement Trust Fund and actually recovering some of those contracts. Like right now, we'd be in the heart of the ramp up to our Summerfest season. And those are like, $10,000, $15,000 entertainment contracts. We program all around the city. So we're not going to be spending that right to the end of June. And rather than have it get sucked up in the shrinking budget that we know is going to be in front of us when the GRT stuff comes back, we've decided to redirect that money and allow artists to pitch us proposals for making content, for making small films. And these people who are out of work because they can't gather can still apply for resources through the city. Or if they're like a theater company, they can get up to $15,000 in relief. And so I know not everybody watching is from Albuquerque, but I think it's amazing if you live somewhere where that's available. Our city's trying to put $500,000 out there, just $500,000 out there just for creatives in recovery and relief. And so if you're in my city, that's what you should do. But if you're not, and you're just like, how do I survive this and stay sane? Which is, most of us, right? This elongated collective clinical depression. Continue to create when you can share it, and create when you can't share it. It's nice that it's shareable. I agree with the folks on the call. Like the firewall is down, so it's all shareable for free. But when we go back to living our lives, you're going to want to make money doing what you love to do and what you're good at and what you've trained your whole life to do. But in the meantime, don't lose your rehearsal time. I've affectionately called it an involuntary DIY residency. Give yourself a residency.
There you
go. That's quote of the day right there. Quote of the day.
Yep. So what do you look forward to getting out and doing when things do start to open up, Hakim?
Oh, first thing I'm gonna do is visit my mom. My mom's in New Jersey, and New York's feeling it, and New Jersey is right behind them. I think they were peaking last week, and we lost my dad back in July. So I've been used to being home like 3 or 4 times a year. I was supposed to be home Easter, and so yeah, I'm gonna go see her, my brothers, and my little nieces, and my gang of nieces and nephews in New Jersey.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Sandra, what advice do you have for the other film festival directors out there and founders of film festivals? You're going into year 9, beautiful Mallorca. And what kind of advice do you have, and what do you look forward to doing once things open up?
Uh-oh.
Audio. I'm not sure if you're
Is this better? Does this work?
Much better. Yeah.
I'll throw these out. Yeah, I think, okay, advice for film festivals. I think let's stay positive, let's innovate. Like what Bruno said, we really have to look into the future and we have to be willing to change. Like, I think it's a time of change and we have to get out of our regular ways and try to find new ways to create those communities and those moments of having that drink and that little tapas before or after a film, even if that might be now on a Zoom call like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
And sorry, is there? I didn't get the second part of the question. Can you?
What do you look forward to doing once things open up? Is it just you want to go to a theater? Do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, me and my husband definitely. He's a cinematographer. The first thing we said is we're going to get a babysitter and go see a movie. Have like a nice date night where we have a drink and go see a movie, and support our local cinema. I think that's kind of. We're having a lot of mommy and daddy time right now. So
imagine. Yep.
I think daycare will never be disrespected again.
Never.
We'll be paying a little more, I think. It's worth it. Emily, what do you think? Advice for other film festivals?
I don't think I could say anything that hasn't already been said. Just keeping positive and finding ways to continue to engage with your community. I think is really important. If we can give them entertainment, we will, and so that they remember us when we're back in the game.
I just want to throw in there, and adding to all of this for film festivals, what I have found really effective is collaboration with other festivals worldwide. You build these relationships with other festivals, and I think until now it's like, oh yeah, help you out here, help you out there, and the like. But I think now it's a time where everybody needs one another, and so the collaboration between festivals is a really important thing.
I'd love to add one more thing. Another advice just for filmmakers, more towards filmmakers, and that is, I think right now is a really great time to get everything organized, get your film finished, get all your materials ready, your poster, your screenshot that you're going to send out, have the right quality of it, have everything in a Google Drive. I think this is a great time to be ready because all these film festivals that are now postponing are all kind of going to come back in kind of a wave, I think, where there's a lot of them even more happening at the same time. So I think right now is a good time as a filmmaker not to just relax, which I think is also great, but also get ready and stand in the front line and be like, okay, where's the next submission? I have everything in order.
Mm-hmm. Great advice.
You bring up an amazing point. This was actually brought up in our last episode, which is we're all creatives, right? Or we surround ourselves with creatives. But speaking to the clinical depression, not everybody feels like creating right now. And there's a guilt on some creatives to be like, oh, I've got all this time, I need to be creating. But if you can't create right now, it's like what Sandra said, the business of your creativity. Focus on that. And that's not just filmmakers, that's actors, writers, directors. Focus on getting those business pieces together. If you can't be inspired right now, which I know that doesn't sound exciting either, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, if I may come in, you just reminded me something which I always think is very important, and we have the time now for it. I feel the filmmakers, I'm very frequently finding that the filmmakers missed one moment in their process by not sharing the script, or not being open to criticize or constructive criticize about the script. I do remember my boss when I was at Sony, Peter Guber. He told me, "Hey guys, we in Sony, we have an average of 17 rewrites of a script. And I believe that these days, you're probably missing 1-0 in the studio. I mean, I'm not saying you need to do to work the way the studios are doing, but one thing I was comparing, being French, in the French system and seeing the American way of doing business in the majors, I saw that they were right and we were wrong. We French here have an industry and system that allows people to basically come up with an idea, think it's great, find a friend which is at the right commission that will giving a little bit of subsidies, help start the film, blah, 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 blah. In other words, they're not even open to anyone saying, yeah, maybe you should consider this or that. On the other side, the industry goes for, yeah, I'm open to hearing what you have to say about my script. And I think people have some time now. So if a filmmaker has a script he thinks is good, is great, why don't you take the risk of trusting someone and say, hey, if you have an hour and a half in front of you, why don't you give me a hand and tell me honestly what you think? And I think that's one of the most important thing in filmmaking is having a vision, but being open to improving it. The second most important thing, and that's difficult now, is having people you trust in your team and making sure you get the best, DOP or sound people or music composer, you name it, and then sticking to working to people you trust who understand your way of thinking, etc. So the team aspect is very important in filmmaking, and it's difficult these days because it goes through a lot of physical contact.
I have a quick comment.
Sure.
If I can. Because I've been promoting my film from 1938 to so many festivals, I've learned a lot about Film Freeway, and I'm happy to exchange any of that information in my adventures with that. And I know some tricks. I've learned a few. When you do that many submissions, because we did more than 120 submissions, believe me, to make that work. It costs some money, but there are ways to save money to do that. There are tricks in there. Plus, I was just experienced a very interesting film festival about a week or two ago, the Bedford Falls Film Festival. They're about 2 years old. Really cool people, filmmaker, a gal who's a PR expert, and it was totally online. It was kind of more last minute because it was supposed to be in New York City, and that obviously wasn't going to work. And they did an incredible job. They didn't have that many people. It was mostly the filmmakers attending, but I had more connection with those filmmakers than any other film festival I've ever attended. And they have gone over the top connecting everybody as well and helping with PR and promotion and distribution. And that's something that film festivals really can do. There was probably a dozen film festivals I was involved with that are doing distribution now. It's a big part of it, and I would really pay attention to that because there may be really good opportunities with that. It's become much more democratic than before. But what this particular festival did was remarkable because they pulled it off in such a quick amount of time, and just the emotional connection that everybody had over this particular period was remarkable. And I'm still communicating with them. I'm working with them on any number of things now. So I would say, if things are going on there online, don't just figure this is nothing. Because even if one other person's on that Zoom call with you, that might be a lifelong connection you're going to have. And that's the one thing I've learned. I could tell you a 20-minute story about how I wound up with this film, but it was the most serendipitous thing I've ever experienced in my life, and it's completely changed my career path through one particular connection that I had. And that's just something you got to keep your eyes open because the person that you walk by on the street may be that person. So, and I think if we've ever learned something, we're all kind of in our little place here. This is the connection right here, this type of an experience. Therefore, any of you out there may be that person that is the turning point for your career. So I would just keep your eyes open. I think most people are asleep through most of their life. And the ones that are successful are the ones that are just constantly watching for opportunity. I'm out.
Thanks, Ed.
I think you get a mic drop on that one.
Yeah, right.
So, Ivan.
Yes.
Did we get to everybody or not? No, we didn't, did we? Who are we missing?
I think we were missing Xola, right?
Xola. Yes.
I forgot what question I asked.
I forgot it too. I'm getting lost in everybody's thoughts.
What piece
I
of
think it was
advice?
about
Yeah, just a piece of advice to musicians out there or artists during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Hakim said it well. I think, to continue to create. And what's our sister's name over in Spain?
Sandra.
Andra, yeah. I thought you guys both put it very, very eloquently. We've got to continue to create, and then we've got to, make sure that we stay sane by, looking forward to all the good things that are going to be, coming up once this is over. And this is not the end of the world. It's not Armageddon. It's, we've had to just kind of sit home and maybe just finding the good in it, taking the time to kind of reset ourselves professionally, personally, and family wise, and being extremely patient and tolerant. Of course, we're all kind of now feeling like we're bumping up against each other because everybody's home and everybody's kind of stuck in the together. But I think something that's also helped me was to begin to retool, my business and look at different ways. It's forced me into that space where I have to learn how to do, certain things online and certain things remotely, because a lot of my, business is done in person, shows and concerts and, things of that, and travel. All of that's kind of kibosh. So now I've got to find ways to reach my audience and reach people virtually. So just finding ways to retool what we do, finding ways to stay connected. I think this is just tremendous to be connected to all you professionals that feel my same frustrations, thinking my same thoughts. It's so cool to listen to all of you guys. So I think that's the key, is just making sure that we, use the tools that are in our hands to be able to stay interconnected, to develop our businesses, and then trying to stay, somewhat sane, personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Ben, may I ask, sorry, Ivan, may I add some more piece of advice to filmmakers? And it's a funny one. When we get back to the real film festival networking situation, one advice I give to every filmmaker I see who wants to get connected is say, all right, take a good looking camera. And when you meet in any film festival, you come across people that you really want to talk about your next project, whatever. Don't be shy, go with the camera and say, Mr. Spielberg, may I ask for a quick interview for filmfestivals.com? Who? Film festivals. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. 2 minutes. And if you're smart, after you're done, that works in Cannes because they think it's for Cannes Film Festival. But if you're smart, after the 2 minutes interview you have, and I'll be happy to post it, by the way, you get the camera, you ask for the business card saying, can I get your email so I can send you the video for approval? And then that's the open line for, hey, by the way, I have this project I want to pitch or whatever. If you're bold enough, it works. I've seen it work. The other thing is go, it works mostly for girls. Now, sorry for being, now, if you're in a big film festival, girls, dress up, take a big camera, and try with guts to go to crash a party. And I've seen some of my trainees crash the Star Wars party and come back the next day with a picture of Lucas. She was in the middle between Lucas and the actor of Star Wars, and say, how did you do it? I didn't even get a ticket for that. Well, I went there with the big camera and I got in. The third piece of advice, and I saw it work in front of me. I was young. It was my first Cannes. I think I've done 30 or something. So first Cannes, opening film, and I'm sitting next to my boss, and in front of me is sitting Steven Spielberg, for real. And my boss then, hey, oh, hi, Steven. I'm Steve Rubin, running. So, yeah, we met in Cannes last year, blah, 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 blah. So the introduction was, we met in Cannes. And they spoke for 5 minutes, and I got into the chat as well, blah, blah. But at the end, when he was gone, I asked my boss, Steve, hey, did you actually meet him? He said, no. But if you're talking like a big mogul or someone, a big producer, you bet he was in Cannes. So you can try that. So that immediately sends a signal. Yeah, we're in the same league. It's okay for you to talk to me, even if I look like a 15 years old student or whatever.
And on that note, we talked about in France and in Spain, 8 p.m. every night, applauding. Hakim just sent a link talking about New York City doing every night. Does everybody have time to do a 10-second, 15-second shout out to just first responders and healthcare professionals out there?
Absolutely.
Who wants to start it off? Hakim?
Man, thanks for running to the front line. I know it's been they've the people, the big decision makers in our country, I'll leave it like that, I'll leave it vague, have called this thing a war on coronavirus. And I'm not a fan of that metaphor, because you don't send your soldiers to war without weapons, especially if you're America. And so why are we sending our frontline healthcare workers to a war without proper protection? So we love you. We're thankful. I'm blessed. I'm healthy. I don't have to come see you. I hope I don't. But no, I love you, and I'm cheering for you from way over here on the healthy side.
Emily.
Just sending a little love to all of the people that leave their families every day to help everyone else's family, whether it's a nurse at the front of the line, some of the people doing the tests, some of the people cleaning up after those tests, all of the people in the community that are classified as essential workers that are risking their lives, maybe some of them because they have to for that paycheck, others because they're coming out of retirement to help. You're all carrying a burden that we appreciate, because without you, this isn't going to stop. So thank you.
Xola.
Man, I just want to say thank you to all of the frontline workers, all of the essential workers. And I don't want to forget about grocery store clerks and any and everybody who literally, bus drivers that are giving yourselves, nurses, doctors, putting yourselves at risk in order to serve us. Thank you. We love you.
Xola, sing it. Sing it.
I need to rap it. That's what I need to do. Yo, yo, yo.
Sandra?
Yeah, I'm going to do it in Spanish. Gracias a todos, todas las enfermeras, todos los médicos que están en los hospitales en España. Muchísimas gracias por vuestra ayuda. Sois unos héroes. Un beso muy fuerte.
Bruno.
Well, en français, un grand merci aux héros du quotidien. And I want to thank everyone who is taking care of the one we love, the one that are most fragile, and giving their life, their energy, and their hope. We get hope from them. And so from the bottom of our heart, thank you. Merci, gracias. Cheers.
Cheers.
And on that note, Ben, what do you think? I've extended this show as long as I can because I know that you get the blame for it. Just kidding.
I just wanted to say thank you to all you guys. You're bringing me to tears with your shout outs. And, my definition of a hero, I think that's everybody's definition, is somebody who puts their life on the line and at risk for those people that they love, or just people in general. And so everybody who's on the front line are truly the heroes right now. And today, you guys are my heroes for coming on here and helping us try to inspire a community. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you all. Look forward to following up. And please share with everybody, have them subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, and just share this weekly with your network. We're going to have some more guests on week to week, and I think it's going to be a really rewarding thing and honoring thing for our entire artistic community. So to the Seattle Film Summit and everyone with AFMX, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Toast. Drinks.
Drinks. Yes.
Cheers.